This next question is for Mr. Ferguson. The North Spokane corridor has been in the works for decades. Now funding is finally secured and a finish date is set for 2030. But with the gas tax diminishing and construction costs rising, how do you make good on that promise and the promise of projects in other communities throughout the state?
Thanks for that question. And first, I do want to mention on education, what you just heard my opponent say, which is something that's important, is using a voucher system, taking public dollars away from our public education system and sending those public tax dollars to unaccountable private schools. That makes our budget problem much worse when it comes to funding our public schools. Now, on the North-South Freeway and frankly, other key projects, right? Palouse to Cooley City, freight rail, right? The US 12 project down in the southeastern corner of the state. These are all key projects on the other side of the mountains, right? The Columbia River crossing, all key projects. We have to continue moving forward on making sure we're making the investments in our infrastructure. Why? It's good for our economy. It's good for farmers and growers to move their goods across the state and internationally as well. So as a governor, you need a governor who can actually put those budgets together and do that in a thoughtful way. You're exactly right that gas tax revenue will be decreasing as we electrify more vehicles. So look, all options are going to have to be on the table for whoever the next governor is. But one thing I can assure you is I'll work in a bipartisan fashion, because guess what? Republicans and Democrats care a great deal about making sure exactly those kind of projects on both sides of the mountains are completed on time.
Mr. Riker, 60 seconds.
Well, he is right. As I said earlier, you do have a choice in who your leader is. And as I pointed out earlier in my opening comments, we've made some bad choices. This time we have an opportunity to make the right choice. By the way, we don't need to tax people out of their jobs and out of their homes. What we need to do is shift taxes. Maybe we should think about shifting the license plates tabs and the license taxes, auto taxes, maybe taxes on cars. We can shift those over to the transportation budget and help pay for repairing our roads and charter schools too. They see them as successful. People have noticed that across the country. The charter schools do have a success. I think competition is good.
That is time, Mr. Ferguson. 30-second rebuttal.
And one thing I want to highlight is that you didn't mention this project, but I referred to earlier, that Palouse to Cooley City, right? That is rail for wheat growers. That's rail for farmers to move those goods. So the way I would view this as a governor, that's not some line on a budget, right? That is a project that's having an impact on businesses and our economy all across the state. So as a governor, you need to make sure you're seeing the people behind that and the business behind that in making our investment decisions. That's why we'll fund those programs.